3 things that took us past $1 million per year. Now, to get to that size, to scale your business past $1 million a year, you obviously have to get quite a lot of things right. But what I want to identify here is 3 key things which I think we did exceptionally well, which covered for some things which maybe we didn't do so well. Because there's obviously, strengths and weaknesses in any business, in anybody's business, in anybody's skill set. And your strengths will often fill in the gaps and overcome the weaknesses. So you can get away with actually quite a lot of weaknesses as long as your strengths are really strong. And here's 3 strengths that we had, which took us past the 7-figure mark. First, quick backstory. This business was built from 2018 through 2022. Took us about 2 years before we started really getting traction, like building out the service and the program. It was a coaching program, business coaching for fitness professionals. Building out the offers and the programs, getting the marketing dialed in to understand like what our marketplace was, what we were selling exactly. So there's always a journey to get to a point where you're ready to scale. But when we were at a point that we were ready to scale, here's what I think we did really well. The first thing that we were doing, which nobody else in our marketplace was doing, and I think this was key because it's a competitive marketplace. There's not that many fitness professionals in the world. It's quite a small market, and there's a lot of people who sell business advice to them. I don't know why. I think probably because a lot of fit pros go through a journey of building business themselves and then find that they actually enjoy business more, and then they want to become coaches and mentors to teach other people how to do it. So there's a lot of competition in a small market. What allowed us to stand out where other people were all kind of the same, obviously everyone has a different message and whatever, but what nobody else was doing is we sold a new identity. We weren't just saying we're better at teaching sales and marketing or we have a better business model. We changed the whole position in an identity of what it meant to be an online fitness coach. So everyone else was just saying, be an online fitness coach. We created this whole new identity called behavior change coaching. That was our methodology for how we taught our clients to get results. They would coach their clients using this specific methodology, which was behavior change coaching, which got better results for clients. And that was genuine. Our clients did get phenomenal results, and it allowed them to charge high ticket prices because the results were there and the confidence was there from the coach to back it up because they had this model of how they were delivering things. This different identity, it created something that people can believe in. So instead of you being compared to everyone else based on the features of like, this person said this and this person said that, and this person says you need to run Facebook ads and that person says you have to do organic, and this person says you should be building a YouTube and doing low ticket, and this person says you should be doing high ticket and blah, blah, blah. We were kind of separate from all of that. We weren't really in those conversations because we were like, we do behavior change coaching. This is something different. And it was targeted at the top end of the industry, the people who cared about getting client results predominantly, and people who were honestly a bit smarter, and people who were interested in personal development. Because a lot of the principles of behavior change coaching are built out of personal development. And it takes a certain, frankly, just a level of intelligence to be able to do it. To be a good coach, you have to have something there. You can't just have a great body. And you can have a great fitness business if you have a great body and you just build up a following and you sell low ticket workout programs and whatever. And that's absolutely cool. There's nothing against that. But we were targeting the people who, they're a bit more intellectual, they're thinkers. They're people who don't want to go that route. They're maybe not the people that want to be on IG or TikTok taking their shirt off or, just filming their workouts all the time, because that's not what they're interested in. They're people who are more holistic. They're interested in, what happens to the person outside of the gym. So we specifically had this market segment that we were targeting with this new identity that they could believe in. And to this day, many years later, I see many of our former clients, and even some people that never worked with us, with their tagline on Facebook or on LinkedIn as behavior change coach. So we introduced this whole new concept to the industry, this identity that people could believe in. And when you have an identity people can believe in, then that is a really, really powerful magnet in the marketplace that attracts people to it. And it allows people to talk about it and refer. Because instead of it just being, oh yeah, this person's really good at teaching sales. So, okay, this is this new thing, this new concept, this is exciting. I want to go and tell everyone about it. So it's really good for things like referrals. The second thing that we did well was we got the right mentorship at the right time. We were already good at the primary skill sets of getting a business going. We got good at sales, we got good at marketing, we got good at coaching and client delivery. What we didn't have any experience on, and we didn't know what we didn't know, is actually building and scaling a business, building a team, finances, infrastructure. Right? When there's just one person or a partnership in our case, you're doing everything. Everything is pretty much contained within your head. And that's all there is to it. But as you start to build out a bigger team and a bigger organization, there's so many more things going on. There's so many more things that you need to think about. And nobody was teaching it. Nobody knows. Nobody gets into a business like coaching to learn like cash flow projecting or how to build proper process and hire people and train them and manage them and oversee them to make sure they're doing the job right. Right, that's not part of like becoming a coach. Part of becoming a coach is like how to do coaching and how to do sales, maybe how to get leads. But as your business grows, you have to solve all these different problems which you don't actually even know anything about. So you don't even know what the problems are, often until it's too late. So we were really good at finding the right mentors at the right time to learn this stuff so we could put it in place. And look, we made a lot of mistakes and we didn't do it perfectly. Far, far from it. But we at least knew what we were supposed to be doing and had an idea of how we were supposed to be doing it. So we could at least identify where we were going wrong and then figure it out and fix it. So the right mentorship is key. You need to learn from somebody who's not just good at sales and marketing, but somebody who's built a business that you would want to have. Right? So our mentors had built a business up to about, at their peak, $70 million a year. Right, that was a big organization. They had a lot of people working for them. They had a lot of things going on. They had all of the structures, all of the foundations, all of the knowledge of the mistakes that you're going to make on the come up and the things you need to think about that you would never think about, that you learn through experience. You learn the hard way when you fuck things up. They had already done that and then they could tell us. So we learn from their mistakes instead of having to make and then learn from our own mistakes. So the right mentorship from people who've been there and done it before is absolutely key. And the third point was a focus on service and retention. I think our peak month was $180,000, and that was probably 45% was people buying again, upsells, rebuys, resells. So it's not all about bringing in new leads. Like leads is kind of my thing. I focus on marketing, that's what I do. But you can't separate, in my opinion, marketing from client fulfillment and product or service or whatever you sell and business model. They all tie in together. It's all part of a business ecosystem. And if they don't line up, then it just doesn't work. So for example, if you have a shitty product and a business model that doesn't make sense, then all you're going to end up doing is having to burn through so many leads, constantly chasing new leads, that you'll never be able to keep up to actually grow your business. So what we were really good at was getting people bought into the identity of becoming a behavior change coach, this new thing which nobody else was doing. You come into this new identity because it's a better option, and then you come into our world, and once you get into our world, then you're going to stick around because we're teaching you this stuff which is shifting your identity. We had a big focus on coaching and personal development, which means people are not just getting the training, the teaching, the information, but they're also going through a transformation themselves. They're also becoming different, better, bigger people, business operators, coaches themselves, which benefits every aspect of their business and their life. But it also means that there's a lot of buy-in there. People wanted to keep working with us. And I'll hold my hands up. At times we went too far and we kept people in our business when we should have let them go because we weren't set up to solve the problems that they had at the next stage. And we didn't actually serve them in the best way possible. And that's one of the regrets that I have from this business. But sometimes you only learn where the line is by overstepping it. And that's a case of having too much of a good thing. People want to keep giving you money and keep working with you beyond your capacity to serve them, right? And as you mature and you learn, then you learn when to say, okay, it's time to let you go. But the big key thing there is that people want to keep working with you, which is a really, really powerful place to be. That means you've got a great product and service that people want to be around, a great community. So this is the three things I think we did really, really well. And it filled in gaps. For example, lead generation at times was not great. Hiring was terrible. The business model itself, we had to change it as we started to scale because we realized that it wasn't going to work. So we made a lot of mistakes and we had a lot of things that weren't great. But these three things, I think, filled in the gaps. So again, number one, we had this new identity that people could buy into. So that was a really powerful concept. How can you position what you do as a identity transformation, something that people can get behind and believe in rather than just a commodity that's compared to everyone else in the marketplace. Number 2 was we had the right mentors who could teach us the things that we didn't know we needed to think about on the horizon. And number 3 is we had a really strong retention and upsell monetization. Our average client value was really, really high. People wanted to stay with us for a long time, which just made our business so much easier to run because it wasn't always reliant on the sales team operating at full capacity. Because then you become vulnerable. It's like, okay, what if your Facebook account gets shut down and now you don't have any leads? What the hell do you do now? And that's how businesses implode, because you've got this weight of expenses where you've got money going out and then suddenly something sabotages your ability to bring money in. Your Stripe account gets shut down, you can't process payments, something like that. Right. Whereas if you've got people that are in the business that are happy clients that want to stay with you, they'll find a different way to pay you. They'll do a bank transfer. It's not a big deal, right? But trying to do a bank transfer with a new client is a recipe for them backing out. So the focus on service and retention, I think, is really, really important as well. And we spent, like I said, about 2 years building out the program and the structure and the fulfillment process before we scaled. We could have tried to scale earlier and we could have had some success, but I think it would have come back and bitten us in the ass because we wouldn't have been able to fulfill at the level we did. We'd have had too many plates in the air trying to do too many things at once, which would have cost us. So 3 things that I think were really helpful for us getting past that 7-figure-a-year mark. Tell me, what are your strengths? What are the things that you want to lean into? Because there's lots of things that you can make your strength in a business, and there's lots of places where you can have weaknesses, and you can fill the gaps of those weaknesses. So I want you to just think to yourself for a minute, what are your strengths? What are the areas in your business that you want to lean into? And then lean into them and make that the thing that carries you through, because it will fill the gaps of some of the weaknesses if you do it in the right way.